All right, welcome back to part 4 of our educational series where I am walking you through Turfile from A to Z. In this video, we are going to jump into the irrigation section and we're going to start to map out a system. So let's jump into the irrigation section and get started. Now, there's 3 things that you really should do before you start mapping out your system. And all of those 3 things are located in the Preferences button. So if you come over to the left toolbar and click on Preferences, it's going to open this panel. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is outline the holes and area types that you have on your property. Much the same as other irrigation softwares, Turfile is going to organize your irrigation assets into these groups. So for simplicity, let's just add a hole and a couple of areas. All right, now that we've set up some areas and a hole, let's move on to the next thing that we should do. And that is customize the way our irrigation items look on the map. Now, in all honesty, you can keep it the way that it is out of the box and it won't affect anything. But if you would like to change the colors, feel free. Now, the third thing that we have to do is set up our pipe templates. So let's navigate to the pipe tab. So to preface, once we start mapping out our pipes on the property, you're going to be able to choose from templates that you have already pre-made. This is going to affect the color that they appear on the map and the size and the style of the line. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So let's add our very first pipe template by clicking this button here. The first field that we need to fill out is the type of pipe that this template represents. So let's go to the pipe catalog search and type in the type of pipe that we want. Maybe we want to add some 8-inch HD pipe. And you can see as soon as I start typing, a drop-down appears with all of the different pipes that you can select from. I want to choose this SDR11 8-inch. So now I've selected the type of pipe that this template is going to represent. It's time for me to add some more data and style it. So if I have the information available to me, I can record how deep this pipe is in the ground. So I can also change the style and the color of the line. So when I go and click on the appearance, I can select between solid, dashed, or dotted. I'm going to stick with solid. I can also change the color. So maybe I want this big main line to be red. If I want, I can also include some notes about this pipe, but I don't want to. And then I'm going to click Save. And there we have it. We have our first template saved to the property. I'm going to go ahead and quickly make another one. So once you've gone through and created a template for all of the different types of pipe that you have on the property, we've completed the prerequisites for mapping out our system. We've set up our areas and holes, we've customized how we want our icons to look on the map, and we've set up the templates. So before we get mapping, there is one thing that I would like to say. I've heard on a couple of occasions people say, well, Stephen, I don't have a good map of my irrigation system. And to that, I say, even better. This is a great opportunity for you to take the knowledge that you have of your irrigation system and put it somewhere safe. The backbone of Turfile is knowledge preservation. The knowledge that you and your staff have about your current system is important and it shouldn't be lost. So even if you don't have a perfect representation of what your system is, it's still good practice to map out what you know. That way, if anybody comes in behind, they can build on what you've already completed. Now, Turfile's mobile application comes in handy when you start mapping out your irrigation system because you can actually stand over top of your actual items out in the field and just drop markers on the fly and see exactly where you're located on the map. However, like I said in previous videos, if you know how to do it on desktop, it's going to be really easy to do it on the mobile app. So let's just get into it. So if I want to start adding items to the map, I'm going to click on the plus icon over in the toolbar. Now this prompts me to add an object. Now once I'm in placement mode, as soon as I click on the map, we will drop a point. So let's zoom into the area that we want to drop an item. I want to drop an item right here. Now it's going to ask me what type of item I want to place in this location. I'm going to choose sprinkler head. I can give it a name. I can select the hole that it's a part of and the area. And then I can add it to the map. So there we go. We've added our first irrigation item to the map. I'm going to go ahead and map out the rest of the hole and then come back. Now that I've finished mapping out my irrigation items, I want to start laying pipe in the ground. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to navigate over here to the pipe tools. Now when I open pipe tools, it's going to prompt me to select a template that we've already created. So I want to map out part of my main line. So this 8-inch pipe is a good template for what I'm about to do. So I'm going to click Start Drawing. So once we jump into the drawing mode, you'll notice that your cursor turns into the crosshair, and that means that we're ready to start mapping. However, before we do, we need to decide if we are drawing curved pipe or straight point-to-point pipe. Because we're laying some HD pipe in the ground right now, this is going to be curved. Now I'm good to start dropping control points. So to start, I'm quite literally just going to click on the map, and then I'm going to navigate to my next control point. And as I continue to do this, you'll notice that my pipe becomes curved in between the control points. I can select these and drag them if I want, or I can click Escape to undo. So I want to draw my pipe all the way along this section here. So now that I'm happy with where this main line is sitting, I'm going to click Finish Drawing. So now I'm going to switch my template and start drawing more pipe in between some of my items. So let's go back, select the different template, and then start drawing. So I want to draw a segment from here to this valve. And as you'll notice, when I hover over a pipe segment or an irrigation item, we get hover to snap, which is really helpful. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to drop a point. I'm going to drop another point. And then I'm going to snap to my valve. Now I'm going to do this to my other valves as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish mapping out the pipe in between all of my irrigation items. So now that we've laid out some of our irrigation system, we can actually start to interact with it. For example, if you want to get quick insights about a pipe, just click on it. You can also click on irrigation items as well. I'll quickly show you some of the things that you can do with irrigation items. For valves, you can toggle its status open or closed. You can also write some information inside the object that's useful. Maybe it's why you decided to go with a certain nozzle color. All you need to do is just start typing, and it will save. Now, if anything happens to this object, you can record the event simply by going to the Log tab, selecting the date of the event, giving a description, uploading some photos if you'd like, and clicking Save. Now, if something is wrong with this item, you can make an issue out of it. Simply go over to the Issue tab. Select what type of issue is wrong with it, add a description if you'd like, and then attach some photos as well, and then submit. Now, as you can see, when we created an issue out of an item in our irrigation system, it was added to our issues list. Now, much the same as in home, if we want to assign this issue to one of our staff members, we can do so by just simply clicking Make To Do, clicking your staff member, selecting a due date, and then creating the to-do. Now, another crucial component of the irrigation section inside of Turfile is being able to create inspection schedules on your assets. So to create inspection schedules for your irrigation items, you need to come down to this button in the tool panel, Inspection Scheduler. Click on that. And as you can see, there's nothing here right now because we haven't created any schedules yet. So let's head over to the Settings tab. Now, as you can see, we have a list of all the different types of irrigation items that we can have on our property. All of them have their own sliders. Now, what I want to do is go through each irrigation item type and select the intervals that they need to be inspected at. So maybe I want my team inspecting irrigation heads every 3 weeks. And maybe valves, they need to be inspected every month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through all of my irrigation item types and set inspection intervals for each of them. Now, once they're saved, I can head back to the Upcoming tab. Now, as you can see, the list is automatically organized from most pressing at the top to least pressing at the bottom. So I can see that these items at the top have never been inspected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on them. It's going to bring me to that item on the map, and then from there, I can click Currently Works. And it's going to move that item all the way down to the bottom. Now we know that this item doesn't need to be inspected for another 231 days. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. We've covered enough to get you rolling and to start mapping out your own irrigation system inside of Turfile. Much like the home section, I'm going to create another video on some of the more advanced features inside of the irrigation section, but as for right now, we probably don't need to worry about them. With that said, thank you for sticking through the video. If I missed anything glaring and you're still confused, feel free to reach out. In our next video, we're going to dive into the bunker section and do some pretty exciting stuff. So I'll see you then.